Hi everybody, it's Thomas Wind Railway here, and I want to welcome you to the second part of this Q&A video. Now before I begin, I want to apologize as the second part of the Q&A video took a very long time to produce. I was hoping originally I was going to get this second part out within a week of the first part being uploaded, but in fact it has taken me quite a long time, in fact almost a month to get this out, and I apologize for that. I had some pressing issues that I had to deal with. But nevertheless, here's the second part of the Q&A video. So I want to thank you all for being very patient for this second part. I've been getting a lot of questions regarding it, and hopefully they will all be answered in this video. So let's get started. Before I begin, I just want to say that there were over 125 questions asked, which completely outdid my expectations. I was hoping for 50 at the best. And so, I mean, that was just a huge number of people who asked questions, and I want to thank all of you. There were a ton of great questions that were asked, but alas, I cannot choose all of them just because of time. So I chose 7 that really stood out to me, and I hope that your these questions will possibly answer some of your questions. And these following 7 questions are not in any particular order. So the first question that I'm going to cover is by a user named FlatMagnets1992. And this user asked, how many cameras have you used over the years and what are they? That's a very good question. I get asked this quite a lot, and I thought I might as well answer it. I've used 4 cameras over the course of my series. If you guys will remember way back when the episodes The Trouble with Trucks as well as Stepney's Problem, the first 2 episodes of my series. And then I also did a layout video with that camera, the very first layout video in my room. It was a very old camera. Well, actually it wasn't that. It was only a few years old, but it was actually a camera, not a video camera. So I guess that's one of the reasons why the video recording portion of that camera was kind of lacking. But it was a very old camera. It wasn't that good. And that was the first camera that he used. So the second camera was actually a slightly better version of that first camera. And it was used just for a little bit, kind of like the first one. It was only used for episodes 3 through 6, I believe. Yes. If you guys go back and watch those episodes, you can kind of see it's a different camera. It's a lot clearer, and the sound is better. And then the third camera is the camera I've used for a very long time. It was a Casio camera, however you want to say that. And it was actually also just a regular camera too, but it had a video button on it, and it recorded some pretty good videos. And I used that for the majority of my series, pretty much from episode 7 to episode 105. So I used it a ton, and then lots of other Thomas Wind Railway discussions, remakes, etc., layout videos, everything in between. I used that camera for a ton of stuff. And then finally, the fourth camera is the one I have right here, and it is it's a Panasonic SDR S26. It's a few years old. I got this at the end of 2009. I've had it ever since. It's a great video camera. I like it. It has some issues, but it'll work. And so those are the 4 video cameras I've used, and those are the types. Our next question comes from a user who has a username of SR3D Films. And this user asks, why are the newer episodes, in parentheses, Hankenstein, dash Paxton's Gains and Pains, saying basically why are season 9 episodes longer, like around the 14-minute mark, and shorter, and not shorter like the older ones? And I feel like this is a very good question because I don't think a lot of people have noticed it, but if you guys go back and look at the season 9 episodes, most of them are above the 12-minute mark, and that's one of the things that has just come along with this new season. I felt the plots are so big, and they're honestly just so big, and they just need more time to evolve. I remember I think the shortest video or episode I've ever done was 3 minutes, and the longest has been 16 minutes, and that was Tenderbender. And that's a really good question, and I mean, there really is only way to explain it is that I honestly think the plots are so good that they just need a longer time to expand and make a good story. At the same time, it's also been kind of a curse because on YouTube nowadays, getting someone's attention and keeping it for that attention span is very rare. And I know the longer and longer a video goes, it's harder to keep the audience. But the good thing is I have such a loyal fan base that you guys are awesome, and you guys hopefully do watch the entirety of my videos because I do throw a lot of things in there. But that's a very good question. I want to thank you SR3D Films for asking that, because that's an excellent point that he kind of saw that the newer season 9 episodes are longer. I remember the average was for, my earlier seasons was about 7 or 8 minutes, maybe even 6 minutes. And now it's around the 12, 13-minute mark. So that's a good observation. Thank you very much. The third question of this second part of the Q&A video comes from a user named Peter Sam Fan number 4. And this user asks, which episode of season 2 of your series did you like the best to film? And what he basically means like that is, which episode in season 2 did I have the most fun filming? I really enjoyed season 2. I liked it a lot. I know a lot of people, the current people on YouTube, they don't know a lot about my older videos, just because people who saw them back when they were in their prime aren't around anymore. But I felt like season 2 was a very strong season. Probably my favorite episode from season 2 was Save Sir Topham Hatt. I thought it was very creative, and it was just a very fun episode to film. But no season 2 episode even holds a candle to the episode Disaster on Sodor. I mean, that was a fantastic and an awesome episode to film, because it's really just, the whole episode is just about accidents. And it's one of my highest viewed videos, and I like that. I am glad that people enjoy accidents, but I hope that answers your question, because Disaster on Sodor, I remember it was just a wreck fest. That's what the entire episode is about, and if you guys haven't seen it, you guys should go check it out, because it's definitely worth your time, and I know a lot of people who would tell you that it's worth your time. The next question comes from two users, one of them being Swampfire94, and the other one being Dr. Obi 9000. And these two users asked a very similar question, and that was essentially, what was your idea or inspiration for your movie Sodor's Last Stand? Sodor's Last Stand was basically a summary of a lot of ideas I'd had in the past couple of years, and essentially what I wanted to do, and I think this is implied by the title, is for Thomas and his friends to make a last stand, essentially. And what I mean by that is just put Thomas in like the worst case scenario and have him somehow get out of it. And I hope that's what you guys got out of Sodor's Last Stand too, because Sodor's Last Stand has a very dark plot. All of a sudden the evil diesels, they come out of nowhere and take over the island of Sodor. And Thomas, the odds are against Thomas by far, and he has to somehow overcome that and save his beloved railway. And it really is a worst case scenario, Thomas defying the odds, overcoming adversity, and basically showing that he is truly a really useful engine. Sodor's Last Stand was a very fun movie to film. It was quite long, but I liked it. It was very interesting because you guys got to see part of the Magic Railroad, although it wasn't a whole lot of detail, but at least you guys did get to see what the Magic Railroad looked like. And of course there was the introduction of Norman and Sydney, as well as kind of the confusion with Airy, Bert, Splatter, and Dodge. So yeah, it was just to kind of sum it all up, it was just a summary of ideas I had from the past couple of years, just putting it all together and creating an epic movie. This next question is a very interesting one, suggested by a YouTube user named Edward Alba. And this user asked a very, very interesting question, because it wasn't even about my series. It had nothing to do with my series or any of my videos. It was simply my opinion on a very controversial topic, and I liked that. And Edward Alba asks, if Thomas and the Magic Railroad was released on its original format 11 years ago, do you think the CGI series would have never been made by HIT? And basically what he's saying is a reference to how Britt Allcroft made a very nice original Thomas and the Magic Railroad, but basically it was essentially destroyed by American test viewers who complained that Thomas's voice was wrong, P.T. Boomer was too scary, Diesel 10's voice was wrong, and essentially, even though I'm an American, it is kind of sad to think that we essentially destroyed a great movie with good intentions and had the Thomas and the Magic Railroad that we all know today come out into theaters, and we never got to see that original the original performance. And Edward Alba is asking, do you think HIT would have taken over the CGI series if Thomas and the Magic Railroad had been released in its original format? And honestly, I would have to say no, because one of the reasons Britt Allcroft resigned was because Thomas and the Magic Railroad was a failure, And if Thomas and the Magic Railroad had been a good movie, a successful movie, and had taken off and gone to all the fame that it should have deserved, Britt Allcroft, I think, would still be in charge of the Thomas episodes today. They might have. That's the one thing I don't know is would they have gone to CGI or not? I'm trying to think about that because, you know, a lot of TV episodes, in fact, the majority of TV shows and episodes today are CGI, and I miss the models. I don't like the CGI that much, and I would probably have to say I think Britt knew the series so well that she wouldn't have allowed them to go to CGI, and she would have kept the models, and Thomas would still be good today as it was in the 90s. The following question comes from two users as well, one of them being the Bluebell Engine, and then another one being Percy number 6. And the reason I decided to group these two questions together is because they were asked by two separate users, but they are actually they're related in kind of a way. And the Bluebell Engine asks, where do you think you'd be right now if Kikra24 Studios had never been hacked? On kind of on the same subject, he also said, would your videos still be as successful? Would someone else have this channel's username? Or do you look at the hacking of Kikra24 Studios as something that has helped you become a better YouTuber? First off, that's one of the best questions I was asked in this entire Q&A video. It was very descriptive, and it was almost impossible not to choose this as one of my questions. And Percy number 6's question is, what's your biggest regret on YouTube? And I feel like they are both related. So, on the Bluebell Engine's question, where do you think you'd be right now if Kikra24 Studios had never been hacked? I would still be on Kikra24. I would probably be doing like season 25 or something like that, and life would be good. Would your videos still be as successful? I believe they would. They would even be more successful than they are right now because Kikra24 had such a huge following that I've never been able to gain back. At the time it was hacked, I had over 1,000 subscribers. I had 250,000 channel views. I remember I would upload a video at night, and that next morning I would wake up and it would already have 2,000 views. I mean, I can't even get that today. Like, not even today. Kikra24 was on a rail, and what that means by that, it was just scooting along, doing its thing. It was awesome. Or do you look at the hacking of Kikra24 Studios as something that has helped you become a better YouTuber? It definitely taught me a lot about life because it's like, you know what, stuff is going to happen in life that you have no control over, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I definitely become a better YouTuber, but I do miss the days of Kikra24 because life was really good back then. As far as whether someone would have this username, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Tomy or Learning Curve or, you know, Fisher Price would take over this, would have taken over this channel. Who knows? As for Percy number 6's question, the biggest regret is the fact that I've left so many times, you know, and have stalled my videos because I think I've never really I've never been able to regain the success I had on Kikra24, and the fact that I keep on leaving just makes it even worse. And so I feel like those two questions go hand in hand. And the final question of this Q&A video comes from two users who pretty much asked the exact same thing, one of them being Henry is Great 15, the other being Wooden Railway Reviews, and they both asked for essentially, would you ever consider using voice actors in your series? As far as my series goes, probably not. Not because it's my series or anything like that, but just because it's almost nostalgic that I've just never done, you know, voice actors. One of the things that threw me for a loop when Thomas and Friends went kind of CGI is that they started using voice actors. I was so used to just this one voice talking to me the entire time, and that's one of the things I don't really like about the new episodes because it's just not Thomas style. I know the addition of voice actors has become very popular since the YouTube user Enterprising Agent 93 has started using them. But I'm just saying, just because he does it doesn't mean I have to do it. And frankly, I'm not good with technology, and I try to keep my videos as simple as possible, as you can tell. And doing the addition with voice actors would hinder my series in numerous ways. I'd have to wait for people. Well, first off, I'd have to hold auditions. I'd have to wait for people to give me lines. Then I'd have to edit, and then basically what happens is that a series becomes a very long, drawn-out process. It's not really a series anymore. And so that's just my take on it. So yeah, I'm always open to the idea of using voice actors. I think it's a great idea, but for my series, probably not. Alright, you guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to apologize again for having it come so late. I know that it was a big inconvenience for a lot of people, but hey, it's better late than never, I guess. I want to point out something really quick here too that I said in the season 10 update. I said that I was going to be doing multiple Thomas Railway discussions before season 10 started, and because I've gotten so far behind on videos, as noted by this video right here that was supposed to come 3 weeks ago, those Thomas Railway discussions are going to have to be unfortunately cut for right now. Basically, what you can expect is this video, and then a layout video, and then the documentary, and then season 10. Those Thomas Railway discussions, however, are going to return after season 10 when I have more time. So I just wanted to clear that up. Thomas Railway discussions will not be coming right now, but they will be coming after season 10. So they're not going anywhere. They're just going to be temporarily delayed. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being the best fans in the world. I'm so blessed, and thank you to having you guys as my fans. And I look forward to seeing you around. Alright, thanks everybody. Goodbye for now.